So I was thinking, if you're going to paint your cult-themed army, why don't we use some cult-themed paints? Welcome everyone, I'm Jason, the creator of the Tabletop Battlefield, and I've got another Warcaster Neo-Mechanika speed paint for you here. We're going to dive into my starter box for the Eternus Continuum, so let me just toss that off to the side there. Empty box, don't worry. And I'm going to be painting the Vassal Reavers that you see here. And given this is a cult army, I thought it'd be fun to use only CvltCraft paints from their inaugural collection to paint these miniatures up. Now this speed paint project will take you about 35 to 40 minutes per miniature, given the usual two important rules. One, the miniature's already primed, and two, you've got some batch painting going on, so while one miniature is drying, you have several others you can do the same step on, and therefore with a 3-man squad here, which is typical for Warcaster, you can probably average out to the 35-40 minute paint time. Alright, let's start priming these guys up and get things started. Now the priming step is the one point where I'm not using CvltCraft paints because I do not have a spray primer available just quite yet. And in this case, I've got my usual black Army Painter spray primer going on. And as well, I'm using my usual 3D printed priming tool. You can find a link in the show notes to my Etsy store where you can purchase the STL files so you can print up your own tool just like this one. I'm getting pretty used to painting this charcoal gray color. So I'm going to start there and work with negative, which is a gray color. And then I'm going to mix in a little bit of unlight, which is the black color, to get a dark gray. And I'm going to cover the entire miniature in that dark gray color. Once that layer is dried, we're going to do another mixture of the unlight and the negative, but this time we want to use even less of the black color to get a lighter gray color. I'm going to dry brush the entire miniature with this color to bring out the details. Now we need to start thinking about where the light is coming to hit your miniature. In your head, pick where that spot is. I'm going to take just straight up negative, the light gray color, and I'm going to dry brush this in all the faces that are facing that light source. One more layer of the gray highlighting. At this point I'm using Honor, which is the white color from the collection. I'm going to mix that in with a negative to give a nice bright gray color, and then I'm going to dry brush that over the areas being lit by our light source. But unlike the last layer, we're going to cover a lot less of the model. I'm only covering the areas of the miniature that are really being illuminated by the light. With that last layer done, it's time to darken things up a bit, and we're going to apply a wash. Now CvltCraft does make a line of washes to go with these paints, but tonight I'm only working with the inaugural collection, so I only have the base paint colors. Therefore, to make a wash, I'm going to take some of the unlight black, mix it with about 4 parts water to 1 part paint, and start applying several layers of the miniature to darken all my grays back down to a charcoal gray type color. With my test piece, I found that with 3 layers of washes, things got a little too dark and I lost a lot of the gradient I just applied. So I will probably go with 2 layers of wash for this step of the miniature. And with these washes, you want to make sure to let the miniature dry between each layer of the wash. And for my weapons, both the chain axe. Is it a chain axe? Is that really what it is? They took it from Warhammer? Yeah, pretty much. Between that and the pistol, I'm only going to apply 1 layer of wash because I want those to look a little bit more of a base gray color than the dark charcoal gray color. We're talking about science fiction, of course, which means things glow. And lots of things glow in Warcaster. For the Eternus Continuum, it's a red glow that they have, and I'm going to be using the Rapture color from CvltCraft's line of paints. Taking a very fine detailed brush, in this case I've got my Artificer Layer extra small brush. I'm going to very carefully apply a small amount of this paint in each of the glowing areas. Now in the last step, things might have got a little bit messy. There was still some wash, at least in my miniature, kind of tucked away in some of those glowing crevices, and yeah, paint got everywhere, but we'll fix that in a minute. Now what we want to do is add a bright spot. This way your brain registers that that area is glowing. Take some of the Honor, which is the white color, and put a small dot of that in the middle of each of the glowing areas. If you find the white gets a little bit too overbearing, take some more of the Rapture, go back into the details, and kind of just dull it down a little bit and get just a tiny bit of a pink to red to white transition. To clean things up, we're going to take some of our old dark gray mixture, so it's a little bit of the negative gray, the unlight black, mix it together, and just use that to clean up any of the mistakes and oopsies you did while painting the glowing sections. And it's pretty common if it happens, so don't worry about it. You can clean up here now and no one will know. Except for all you guys, because I'm showing you all my mistakes, but don't tell anyone else, right? You know what would be nice for a painting tutorial? How about some noticeable color? So let's start working on some of these silver armor panels that these guys have. The first layer is going to be some basic gray, so I'm using negative from this kit. Just paint each of the armor panels are going to be silver in this gray color. Now the base gray layer is applied, we're going to do another step, very similar, but this time we're working with silver. And the silver color from the set is called Vanguard. And now with these miniatures and speed painting in general, it's not about painting the nicest looking equipment. It's equipment's used, old, beaten up, that kind of stuff. So if you don't get a perfect coat of paint, don't worry about it. It adds to the character of the battle damage. Also, during these steps here, I'm doing the gray and the silver, I'm working on the weapons as well. Alright, we're getting close to the end here. I think I've got 3 more steps. These miniatures do have some leather material on them, a few straps, a couple pouches, and their boots. So let's paint all those up using a brown color. And from this paint set, we have the earth color to use. So while the leather layer is drying, I'm not going to pass up on a chance to use a color called Evisceration. And with that color, we're going to dry brush it on the weapons as blood and other guts that these guys have cleared off on the battlefields of Warcaster. For the final step of the painting process, I'm going to take some of that black wash we created for the charcoal gray color step and just apply a little bit of that over all the leather areas to bring out some of the details and darken the color down just a little bit. With that completed, you can call your Vassal Reaver squad done. With that, your Vassal Reaver squad is done and ready for combat in the Warcaster Neo-Mechanika universe. Now, this is the point where I normally drop the miniatures at least 3 or 4 times, so I'm going to gently put them down on the table because they are metal miniatures and will break if I drop them, and I don't want to assemble them anymore. Done that several times already. So anyway, once again, I'm Jason, the creator of the Tabletop Battlefield. I want to thank you guys all for watching. If you have any suggestions about units or figures that you want me to speed paint, feel free to post those in the comments. I have done user requests before. See my video on painting Ghost Bear Alpha Galaxy from a few weeks ago. Alright, well that's it for this time, so have a great week.